Day 12 of 31 in my 31 days of horror. Can you guess which movie it is? Actually, you probably could from the thumbnail, but it is specifically this side of it, Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Specifically, the Ichabod part, which is based on Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. The movie's only like 30 minutes long, and it is a very interesting and loose take on The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It's kind of a fun double feature to do, Ichabod and then Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. All right, and just because I love this book and I love this copy of this book, I want to show it off again. This is my 130-year-old copy of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. See, let's go to the front. Right there, page 32. Anyway, this is a very cool old copy of this thing. So I like to show that off. So I grew up watching this on VHS, and then I upgraded to DVD, and then I've upgraded to Blu-ray because this is an awesome show, and it's tons of fun. And I watched it with my kids, and they were pretty nervous on the part when Brom is like teaching Ichabod the Headless Horseman story, and they were very nervous when Ichabod was riding home and the Headless Horseman shows up. Apparently I keep trying to show stuff to my little kids that's too scary, and then I have to stop it, so I get in trouble. This one was just barely scary enough to be allowed for the littlest kids, so I pushed for it. And then tonight we actually watched the 4K of Snow White, and I had to skip over the scary part where she's in the forest. That was an agreement that we had to make before the show started. One thing I love in this movie is the narration of Bing Crosby. It's perfect narration voice. And then he also sings in it, so it's perfect. Look at Ichabod. Look how he's walking. He's taking these huge steps. His face in a book. He's like the guy version of Belle. Look at that. Do you know why his name is Ichabod? Because his bod is Ica. Look at this. He's even walking through town as a total outsider like Belle does. With his nose in a book. So they made Ichabod just be this total like raging foodaholic. Just like constantly eating. And it's like all he cares about. He's gonna hit him. And then he sees what's in his food basket. Gosh. Alright. I'm no anatomical expert.
Van Tassel, daughter and only child of old Balthus Van Tassel, the richest farmer in the county. She was a blooming lass, plump as a partridge.
Okay. So Katrina Van Tassel, the object of every man's desire in this town, is as plump as a partridge. Now, I'm also not an animal expert, but is that what plump is nowadays? I mean, her waist is approximately that big. Yeah, she's plump. So there turns to this rivalry between Ichabod, Brom, and Katrina. And I always thought Ichabod was the victim, but I feel like the movie kind of portrays Brom like as the hero of the town, and then Ichabod, like in his rivalry, he's kind of a jerk to Brom. And so at the end, when Brom scares the crap out of Ichabod at the little party by telling him the story, you almost don't blame him because this scene right here specifically. Look at this. Jeez. Just making him carry all her stuff. So speaking of the quality of the Blu-ray, it's way better than it's ever been before. It looks pretty good. It has a lot of these specks that like the specks like stay in place while the picture's moving behind. So I don't know if that's from the original elements when the animation cells and the different layers, because you know how sometimes they do different layers where one is already painted and then they move the other one. I'm not sure if that's what that is, or if there's some kind of like grain freezing digital noise reduction or something, but it looks okay. It's watchable. The colors are nice. Again, it looks better than it ever has. So it looks great on Blu-ray. All right, we've established that Ichabod is a food crazy jerk and that he's going to get his. So as Brom plots his revenge, it's just this dance scene. I love this part so much. Watch when he starts dancing with this girl. She's like giggling like crazy the whole time. He even picks her up and starts running her around like a football so he can maneuver himself better. Look at this. So awesome. All right, look at all these freaked out people. Brom's tight little bum. Look at all these little guys. Anyway, he finally decides that he's going to tell this scary story. And I think this Disney version basically takes out everything supernatural, because I think they kind of paint Brom as the hero, like the little bit of a jockish hero. And then Ichabod comes in and there's a rivalry, there's a little bit of rudeness, and then he basically gets his revenge. And I swear it's just him dressed up as the Headless Horseman, because then he marries the girl and Ichabod ends up with some lady that makes him lots of food, a rich widow or something, and it just shows him at a table with a whole bunch of kids and a whole bunch of food, and he's happy. And so it seems like the Disney version is just like, once upon a time there was a town rivalry, and then one of them scared the other one, the end. But even though that's what I interpret the Disney version as, I still think that this scene is really moody and cool as he's talking about the scary story. But I still think the scene when Ichabod's riding home is pure horror and terrifyingly beautiful. Look at him go.
Long about midnight, the ghosts and banshees.
See, he's getting scared.
Together for sorcerers. Some with fangs.
Scaring Ichabod. Love this song.
A jamboree, they break it up with fiendish glee.
Look at that. So pretty much everybody else at the party is just laughing and singing along. Like Ichabod's the only one that's scared. Like I know those people at the beginning looked kind of scared, but by the end of the song, like everybody's singing along and Ichabod's the only one that looks scared. So again, that's kind of goes more to my thesis of the Disney version kind of eliminates the supernatural from this story. The sound effects on this part are actually amazing. You can hear the woods creaking. You can hear echoes. You can hear, like they start introducing more and more sounds, like the little frog saying Ichabod. You hear that? And then one of the animals even says Headless Horseman. I never noticed that until this time watching. Right here. You hear it? It's like another frog saying Headless Horseman. Fun fact, the Tim Burton Sleepy Hollow movie also has frogs that say Ichabod in them on the same kind of part when he's going home. So that's kind of a cool homage in the Tim Burton one. So this is just like the perfect like escalation of sounds and pictures and everything. Like you have the clouds that look like hands going around the moon, and it's just getting like so scary and it's so moody. Like just like this last little, like, I don't know, 5 minutes of this movie is like the most Halloween-y thing that you can think of. Like it is so perfectly moody. And then it goes absolute freaking nuts. You got the colors change. You got this mad laugh. You got the horse with the red eyes and the swinging swords, and like this Headless Horseman is terrifying. Look at that. I mean, look at this. My kids were a little scared on this part. I was trying to keep them together. Look at this part. And then again, the Sleepy Hollow movie imitates this scene as well right here. He pegs him with the pumpkin from across the bridge. Now, ironically, that part in Sleepy Hollow, it is Brom dressed up like the Headless Horseman when he throws the pumpkin at him. So I wonder if that's also an homage to saying that this part is. I don't know. I'm going to say it is. Anyway, Ichabod. It's the adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. But I've always loved this Ichabod part. It's funny just watch the odd pedagogue with his propensity towards so much food, and then his rivalry with Brom, and then watching it as an older person now, feeling a little bad for Brom. Ichabod's a little bit of a jerk to him, but this show had my kids laughing, I was laughing, and then we were all like sitting on this couch just like terrified during that last part. The animation is beautiful. I love that it's like an old American kind of folk tale, definitely softened down by Disney. But yeah, I think this is the perfect Halloween 30-minute movie, and that is why I chose it to be the day 12 of 31 of my 31 days of horror. So let me know what you think of this. I love the Bing Crosby narration and singing in it. Stay tuned for more, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.